This is Lectio Musica. I'm Matthew David Morris. This is episode 8 of Lectio Musica. We are 2 months into Ordinary Time, the long green season of the liturgical year between Pentecost and Advent. I'm grateful to all of you who have subscribed to the podcast so far and shared the songs with your friends. Thank you. And my gratitude as well to the good folks at the Episcopal Evangelism Society, whose financial generosity has made it possible for me to record these songs and produce this podcast. Thanks, y'all. If you're new here, here's what the show is all about. Every week, we look ahead to the upcoming Sunday lectionary readings, and I share a song inspired by those readings, either one of mine or, as you'll hear in next week's episode, one written by another Lectio Musica practitioner. Scripture speaks, and we respond with music. About a year ago, I became a postulant to the priesthood in the Episcopal Church. This means that after I complete my Master's of Divinity degree, as well as a few other courses of study, I'll be ordained a priest, God willing, and the people consenting. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the ordination process in my tradition, let me just say that it is a little long and a little complicated, but it is absolutely a transformative experience. It's transformative in part because it is so focused on a person becoming clear as they possibly can be, about the nature and meaning of God's call. If you really do your work, if you really seek to understand God's call and align yourself with God's will, your life is going to change. It's inevitable. In songwriting, we can use the form of call and response. So call is in relationship with response, right? I sing one thing and you respond with something else. In the discernment process, which is this process I'm in the middle of, I'm finding that God's call requires a response that is more than just the repetition of a simple refrain or the echoing back of a line that I just heard. My response to God's call to ordain ministry is leading to a real transformation of my own understanding of myself and of God. This response to God's call can be hindered by my own selfishness or my own self-interest. There can be a desire on my part to want to control the way that God's call plays out, or the life that God is calling me into. And the truth is, we just don't get to control that. That is not how call works. All we get to do is work on the quality of our response. The lectionary readings this week are just a veritable meditation on the meaning of call. We see it in the Hebrew Bible reading, and we certainly see it in the Gospel with St. John the Baptist. Responding to God's call comes with consequences. So let's get to it. How about it? Here are this Sunday's lectionary readings. Amos chapter 7, verses 7 through 15. Psalm 85, verses 8 through 13. Ephesians chapter 1, verses 3 through 14. Mark chapter 6, verses 14 through 29. So for today on Lectio Musica, I'm going to share something with you that I am actually uncertain about. Writing songs is a complicated process. Sometimes you feel like you're on top of the world, like everything gels. You read these
readings, you hear these messages, they just like lift off the page immediately into your voice. You can sing them, you know what they're supposed to be. And then other times you're not sure. You don't know. That's kind of the space I'm in this week. And I've been going back and forth. Like, should I share something I'm on the fence about, or should I write something more perfect? But part of the Lectio Musica practice is, I think, developing trust and confidence in the process. This isn't a product. The songs that we write as a spiritual practice are not songs to sell. They're not songs to commodify. They are prayers, and sometimes prayer is messy. Sometimes prayer, often, I guess, isn't really perfect. Well, we're not either. So I'm going to share it with you anyway. I don't know about it. I'm not going to give you any more info about it, and I'm just going to sing it for you and see. And this is my prayer. This is my prayer inspired this week, messy and uncertain, and maybe in the midst of all that, holy. It's called Brother John. The Lord did this to me. I had no choice but to speak, to declare what is true. What is coming for me is coming for you. In the shape of love, a love so fierce you could die. And you surely will, and so will I. On a whim and a breath, you discover the end is not the end. Brother John, Brother John, Brother John, Brother John, Brother John, Brother John. God is here. They are calling you near. So be swift to be kind. Make amends while there's time. There's so much time and no time at all. It's hard not to feel small when love eclipses your life and you catch sight of the light and discover your life is not your life. Brother John, 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 Brother John. Brother John, Brother John, you discover the end is not the end. Brother John, Brother John, you discover your life is not your life. Oh, Brother John, Brother John, you discover the end is not the end. Brother John, Brother John. Brother John, Brother John.
I'm still learning about God's call, but I do know this. I am not God, and I need God. And God is most definitely calling me to love, to forgive, and to live into the fullness of God with every creative and life-giving ounce of my being. And I think God's calling you too. I don't know how, I don't know to what God is calling you, but I am curious about it. I'd like to know. I'd like to know who you are listening to this podcast. And so I invite you to share something about your call. Find me on Twitter @MattMorris or on Facebook /MattMorris, and let's chat. Hearing about your journey helps me to understand mine. Thanks for listening to Lectio Musica. My song, Brother John, was written by me and recorded by Jordan Richter, with assistance from Andy Green at Room 13 Recording Studios in Portland, Oregon. If you like what you've heard, please leave your own review of Lectio Musica on iTunes or Stitcher. It helps others find the podcast. And may God's love inspire you to sing